Welcome. I am not Trey Rowland. He's off at a mustachio convention somewhere. I am Brendan Sinone, and I am subbing in for Trey Rowland today with my buddies, Coach AB and Kev Little. Gentlemen, thank you for having me here on this episode of X's and O's film review of Southern Miss game. I appreciate it.
It's negative Nancy to you.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I've since changed my name.
So let's talk about that real quick before we get into the X's and O's of it, all the X's and O's of it all. AB really stirred the pot on his instant reaction podcast. A lot of negativity there. For someone, AB, who had FSU only winning by 18 points in the projected total, the tone did not quite match this. What was it? Help me out, Kev. You're the math guy. 53 points?
700-point victory.
Yeah, 53 points.
All right, AB, we're going to get into the film here. You got a chance to rewatch the game. You let the crappy ACC network broadcast kind of leave your body.
Yeah, it's horrible.
General thoughts. Are you more optimistic, less optimistic? What are we viewing and what are we watching for as we go into the film review here?
I think I'm in a similar place to where I've always been. This is an elite program, an elite team, and that's kind of where that's the scale at which I'm going to judge them now. We need to start seeing some of the mistakes go away. We heard Mike Norvell discussing his presser today about, there were a number of mistakes in the game today that they know they need to clean up. They're actively working at it. I think my biggest takeaway is when this offensive line gels, this offense is going to take that next step. And I think they're really close to getting there.
I think the viewpoint of things to work on is really what your point was, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what it always was. And I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan just needs to tighten up the beginnings of his games. We've seen 2 weeks in a row they've been a little slow to start. They're working on things in this past game. Not a ton of game planning going into it. We just want to see him start hotter, start stronger, more consistent, and the offensive line just continue to work at that process and gel. It's all in front of them. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, at 12:30, and after listening to those morons talk about that game the entire time, it came off awfully ugly. So I'm sorry to anybody that was disgruntled about it. I'm trying to give honest thoughts after a game, and it came off nasty and negative.
All right, negative Nancy. It's all good. I think we're on the same page. This is a team that's ascending, and I think we all feel better after watching the game the first time. I think we feel better after rewatching it than maybe we initially did. And Kev, we're about to watch it a third time all together here if you want to pull it up. From negative Nancy to positive Pete, Kev, let's get going.
Yeah, I think I want to rewatch specifically the run game. I mean, this is a team that prides itself. Like, I think Mike Norvell would have told you preseason that they think that they can run counter on anybody at any time for any reason. And I'm not convinced that, that they were able to do that on first watching. So we'll see if it got better here.
Film's a little glitchy.
Let's see if it let it settle. This is a full game that we're watching here, so it's got a lot of bandwidth to go.
Worked last week though. I don't know why it's so glitchy. Kev, any idea why it's so glitchy?
It is not glitchy from my end. So
okay, just on my end then.
Are we using what Kev is recording?
Yes.
Okay, that's all that matters then.
Yep. All right, so we're clean. So. And I think that it's fair to say that the number of drops that occurred in this game, they muddied the waters on analysis of what occurred. This is not good. This is not. Jaheim Bell's got to catch this ball. I don't think anybody can debate that. They're using some play action here, a popular play for them, working some flood concept coming across the field.
Yeah, there's just no way that they're going to be able to cover all these people going across the field, and they don't. And both guys are. You actually kind of have 3 guys because Morlock peels off here.
I think the linebacker does get a hand on it, so that probably changes the eyes a little bit for Bell, right? But
right,
like your NFL caliber tight end hit his hands. I know the trajectory changed, but I'm with you. I do like that as an initial concept to start off a game, a little play action to the right. You get Jordan running and make some decisions. I like that.
Jordan tends to do really well on the run, getting him outside of the pocket.
Love this play call, the screen, set up beautifully, executed great.
Yep, get Trey a little head of steam. That seemed like something they wanted to do in a variety of ways after he really didn't get going, right, guys? You want to get Trey Benson in a position where he's moving before he even gets the ball. That's a good thing.
Love seeing Darius Washington's athleticism out in the open field. He's blocking guys. Casey Roddick does a nice job.
Roddick's really what springs this. It seems like to me. He does a great job getting downfield, making that key block right there. Darius Washington, yeah, you're right.
I
Also
want to ask
pins the
Brendan a
guy.
question here before we go on to the next play.
Mhm.
I listened to Alex Atkins' comments today. He was, I don't want to say he was giddy about talking about Darius Washington at center, but he sounded giddy to me. And it was interesting because he made a comment that I thought he kind of walked those comments back about Darius and how versatile the run game can be with him in there. What are your thoughts about that situation? Because obviously Mo's been your starter forever. He was a starter against LSU that he obviously is a little dinged up or whatever's going on with him there. But those comments kind of caught me off guard.
He loves Darius Washington. I think, like, even as a person, like, he just has a lot of respect for Darius, and Darius's versatility is something that FSU celebrates and thinks highly of as a major asset. And the fact you can legitimately put Darius in at any spot and feel like as long as he's healthy, like, that he's going to be competent at every single one of those spots along the offensive line. That is a huge asset to this team. As it applies to, like, center, trying to think the right way to phrase it here, but they really liked what he did. I thought it was such an encouraging sign that you could put him in at center. It was his second career start there. He snapped the ball well. Snapping important to you guys, like that was big. There were some things that he alluded to with, like, Darius, and things beyond my scope of, like, navigating the offense, and, like, that's where Maurice is so valuable. Is, like, he has 30 career starts at center, so, like, it's just second nature for him to be calling stuff out and be thinking about things. So I think what this shows is, like, it just further solidifies of, like, what Darius's role is with this team. I don't think it's like him on seating Maurice Smith or anything right now. I think what it really is you can feel confident if you have to pull Maurice out for a series or Darius has to go one of the guard spots, like, that his athleticism and size will show in a way that allows you to be multiple in the run game.
Yeah, it just really struck me. He was talking about Darius, and, like, he was like, he could read. They were talking about running zone plays and outside zone, and he commented about Darius being able to make all these blocks, blocking a 2-eye and reaching a 3 and that kind of stuff. And then he was like, "Oh, well, Maurice can do that too." And I don't know. The whole conversation just struck me as very odd, and odd from the standpoint of the whole frame of his talk was about variety in the run game really today. And why they need to be, why they need to have diversity moving forward. So it just struck me as an interesting comment.
Well, it's also an interesting comment with perspective that Maurice Smith did struggle a little bit in the LSU game, having to block down on, frankly, probably a top 5 3 tackle or 3 technique in the country. So I think there's some context there that makes that an even more interesting comment.
You feel good about your center position.
Yeah, well, I think you feel good about where the offensive line's going in general.
Yeah. All right,
their best balls
counter, guys.
Yep.
All right, so we can slow mo this guy.
All right, so you're getting GY counter.
Yep. So GY just means guard.
The guard and the tight end, or that's the 3 back in this offense there.
The running back's alignment, is that he's not on the opposite side?
I thought it was interesting. This is the first time I don't think it's the first time. I think we've seen it in years past, but it's the first time this year that they ran same side counter. So that's the counters running to the back.
What's the advantage, or, like, what is that setting up?
It's a key breaker. That's all.
All right.
You're expecting, most teams when you're expecting run game opposite the back. So they get a wrap and a kick. It's how they want to run it. Morlock much better on his track this week.
That's nice, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
Morlock did a really good job here, or at least a fairly good job opening this hole.
So they ran this into the unblocked safety quite a bit. You're going to see him come rolling down here.
So yeah, this is the guy that makes the tackle. You can't account for him with your numbers here. So it's kind of on the running back to break this tackle. I wonder if.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I wonder if they want a stalk crack from. Is that Destin or is that?
I think that's Keon.
Destin or Winston, maybe Keon.
It looks like number 4 to me. Yeah, that's Keon Coleman.
Okay, so he stalks right away. I'm wondering if they are going to show something different in the future there.
Yeah, it seems to me like I remember last year they would have
Mhm.
this receiver block down on this safety. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to me that he blocks down here. You would think this guy's in a much worse position to fill this gap than this safety who's
Right.
clearly coming down.
And also probably a much worse tackler.
Right. He's a corner versus a safety. So
Right.
it's the
So I
equivalent.
think that it's important that, this is good context for what's going on with the run game. Like this is an unblocked defender coming down in the box. It makes this tackle at 3 yards.
But that also means that on a play action situation, since this guy's coming down so hard, that right here, right at the play action, right at the mesh point, this guy's down too far to be any help to any of these receivers. So you've got essentially man coverage.
Which we'll see some more like traditional like RPO glance stuff, right? But like we see that coming up a little bit.
Yeah, I think they definitely go to it.
Yeah.
All right,
but you see they're being pretty aggressive with their safeties, trying to stop that counter game. It's hard to know if that block was.
All right, this one frustrates me. This play should be out the gate. It should be gone. Bless just doesn't do it good. He's not strong enough there. He's got to get that inner hand and get this dude turned. He can't get stunned by this dude. That ball's gone. I mean, it's gone. That's where, I think it's fair to be frustrated about a play like this. Like, he's got to be better than that in this scenario. And I think that they would probably tell that to him. Like, Darius does a great job on his reach. This is what Alex was talking about earlier today. Like, reaching a 3-tech there with help from Roddick. Like,
yeah, that's great.
That's a great block.
That's like Brian Stork type of athleticism and size.
Yep. Like
and
nice help
like
there.
And hips.
Sorry, go ahead, Kev.
He gets his hips around. That's huge.
Yep.
I mean, that's what opens up the hole.
That's really impressive. And that Southern Miss defensive line, like for a group of 5, that's a caveat. But like that's a
yeah.
There's a couple of guys who I think could be like depth pieces, like at the Power 5 level there. Like it's not like there's like Malcolm Ray type of guys on that defensive line.
That ain't your mama's USM. All right, they got some players.
Yeah, I think they're going to do some damage this year. So this play gets cut off a little bit. So
third and 3. Okay. It's a Jordan keeper. Seen this a couple times. Saw it against LSU. It got stopped, and here he does a good job of putting his head down and getting the first down.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially one-on-one in space against Jordan Travis. Not many people make that tackle.
Seen that for years and years and years. I do feel like some of the stuff we saw in this game, they're building long-term off of. Like some of that stuff with counter, with that safety coming down. Like, are we going to see some play action or some RPO stuff to Keon there in the slot? Like, it's interesting he was in that slot there for some of those, and I wonder if you're building off of that for the future.
So this is interesting. This kind of goes back to this safety coming down, but he's still kind of hanging out in this little intermediate area. So they're going to try to just take the one-on-one matchup with Keon Coleman on the outside. You see them do this a lot early. Southern Miss does a great job of getting their hands up and through the receiver's hands. And then it's just textbook coverage.
Doesn't seem like that ball's a little underthrown, though.
Yeah, that's the theme.
Jordan underthrew a little.
Yeah. Like, people got very frustrated that I commented about Jordan Travis's play. Like, I thought he had 3 or 4 in this game that he could have put out there a little bit farther and given his guy a better opportunity to catch. Like, I thought he put the ball in a place that the DBs could play their hands.
But like, so it is interesting. It's not that it's the end all be all, but like PFF loved what Jordan did.
Yeah, they gave him a 90 grade, right? But is that because they graded those as drops or?
Yeah,
I think they graded them as catchable balls.
Okay.
Yeah, Jordan only has 3 drops. I checked that before we started recording. Only 3 drops counted against his receivers this season. So this is a little RPO or just even like a play action, like a skinny post. I don't know if it's an RPO or not. Is it, Kev?
I don't think it is. I was looking at it.
If it is, it's pre-snap.
Yeah.
Although he is looking.
Yeah,
I think he kind of has a good idea.
Like look at Bless there. I mean, he's moving forward. There's like the Tate Rodemaker Louisville special here.
Yeah, I do think there's some RPO component here. It's kind of hard to tell.
Well, that's after seeing the safeties were aggressive, right? Like that's kind of like, okay, let's attack the middle of the field, skinny post.
I mean, what's weird is that if it was an RPO, you'd see him going here because that's where
Yeah.
he was looking.
Hmm.
He was looking
LT,
kind of.
I think LT is a bit of a giveaway. Like he immediately goes and blocks an edge defender. Maybe that's what they teach him to do, but
Even Meach is downfield pretty good
Yeah.
there too.
the way
Like
successful
getting
play.
Span involved a little bit. Like he's just got so much talent, and like
Love to see
him
it.
building confidence is big.
Yeah.
All right, here's another counter.
So long, so much speed. Like
All right.
the way they're putting personnel out is pretty neat. Like you've got Jaheim Bell out wide here on this upcoming play. Like he's out wide as a wide receiver up the top of the screen.
Yep.
And you've got Deuce Span and Darion Williamson down here paired together as a slot and a flanker. Like that's I think they're creating some issues.
They're building
down the
stuff.
road. Yeah, I think they're starting to build some stuff, which is fun.
AB, isn't that a bit? That was you listening to the press conference today. That seemed to be hinted at with Atkins with the run game in general. But I think that's like a philosophy that, man, to me, that's the reason why I'm not concerned about like some of the early stuff in this game, generally speaking, because like I think they're building for stuff.
I agree with that. I want to start seeing some of these runs pop though. Like
yeah.
I mean that's all. Like I think that your success rate on some of these plays needs to start going up. Like this is a play. I think this is a bread and butter play for you. I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't have a little bit more success with it early in the game. Like it's fair to say you're going to lean on teams in the second half and have that success. That's great. They've done that. Just want to start seeing it. Like if you're going to be an elite team, and that's the caveat. Like we think this is an elite team that's going to go play a Michigan, a Georgia, or whomever in the playoffs. You're going to have to be able to run the ball well in the first quarter too. Like I don't know.
What doesn't work?
It's nitpicky as hell. I get it. It is nitpicky as hell.
No, but it is a reasonable critique. I think and they know they need to get better at. This was they did what they had to do type of game. I think that was just the context of it.
Mike said what they got in early morning and immediately were breaking down film like on their way back from Orlando. Like short weeks suck. Like they're no fun for anybody. You're spending a lot of your time getting treatment, like not on the field doing the things you need to be doing to prep for games and getting. You lose some of that developmental factor in short weeks. So you're not able to go clean up as much as you were able to when you have a full week of practice. Like hopefully they're going to get this week.
Yeah, so I think this is another example of one of those plays where it just feels like it's almost there. It just isn't clean, right? So Emmanuel logs this guy who's trying to spill. I think you need a little bit of a better clearing hit by Morlock here. This seemed a little soft to me.
Catches him.
And then again, Southern Miss does a really good job of filling this with a safety. Roddick misses his block, so things kind of just converge. He's not able to hold down on that down block. So Southern Miss does a good job. You can see they're very aggressive towards the run. They've got that +1. They're ready to take on counter. They've clearly prepared for it. But this is a play that, like, I mean, you'd like to see it. You'd like to see just a slightly bigger hole, give your guy a chance to to have enough space to break that tackle on the safety. And
teams are definitely selling out. They're spilling like crazy. LSU spilled like crazy, which means they're trying to make the ball bounce to the sideline. Like teams are selling out to stop counter with this team. They've adjusted to what Florida State wants to do, and now I feel like Florida State's adjusting back some. Like they're going to counter the counter.
I mean, I think the counter at this point would be just going over the top, right? If you're putting that much resources into counter, you've got to throw the football.
Yeah, they did.
They did, and they were 0 of 6 on passes of 20 yards downfield. Like that's not a typical. It's good throw by Jordan there on the touchdown.
Yeah,
like that. I think that shifts the way we think about the game. That you went 0 for on big shots.
Can we talk about how 2 great catches by potentially your 4th and 5th wide receiver?
On Darion Williamson getting involved, like chef's kiss. It's like we've been like this outlet loves him collectively, and like for him to be healthy and get practice, like this is an athletic catch. Different body
Dane's,
types, different assets. Yeah, man, it's a
Dane's
really good
crying
wide
somewhere.
receiver. Dane's not the president.
I mean, this is just such good coverage. So they're playing a type of cover 4 here.
They miscommunicate it. They do miscommunicate it because I remember Keon going over to Greedy after the play and kind of cleaning up, which I love to see. We haven't seen that all
On
the
that
time
play?
in the past. Yeah.
Is Greedy supposed to peel back further?
I don't remember exactly. I just remember it stood out to me because Keon went over. They checked it because I believe USM. Yeah, they motioned out to empty. They didn't start an empty. They motioned out to empty, and they checked the coverage.
Yeah, you can see him checking.
Mm-hmm. And Greedy, I don't think Greedy got the check.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't think I don't think he's supposed to come off of that. I think Greedy buzzes out to the flat here to undercut 1, and I don't think he's supposed to because there's nobody's there to take 2 here.
Right.
You can see Akeem Dent at the very end of the play is crashing down to get the guy, the slot wide receiver there.
Okay,
yeah. I don't understand how Greedy would be wrong here. This looks like
maybe he's not. Maybe he's not.
2.
I just remember the two of them talking and thinking,
cover 4.
Maybe Greedy was wrong.
But I mean, so let's just assume he's right.
No,
this is beautiful technique.
Watch Akeem too. Akeem goes over to him also. Like,
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, to clean it up a little bit. Interesting.
Which is great though because they're communicating better than they ever have. Like you could tell that.
And that's something we can see in practice. Like that. Look, it's something we see. Like it exists. It's cool to see it like manifest itself in games.
But I mean, I think this is beautiful. They see man coverage. Yep. They call basically the perfect route combination, which gets this kind of natural pick on Greedy Vance. He reads it well, immediately goes over the top, doesn't even mess with this pick, and keeps his kind of leverage towards the sideline, forces this wide receiver out wide, and there's just nowhere to throw this football. The Southern Miss quarterback is staring at it. That's what he's expecting.
I think Farmer's getting held in there pretty big. Like, I think he should have had a sack on this play. He just gets absolutely held.
Let's see. Yeah, Farmer dominates the guy. Yeah.
Good to see he's showing that juice. That's a big load in there. Kid show. Sorry. Too soon.
That looks like a jump.
Pat looks like he jumped a little bit.
I don't think they called it though.
They didn't.
The refs were pretty poor just generally. This was an LSU lopsided type of deal. There was one play. We'll see if we can find it. I didn't want to see it in my first one, but live, a wide receiver for Florida State was like off and running before the play started, and it just completely missed it. Not a great crew.
No.
Yeah, pretty well covered up here. The Southern Miss guy just kind of throws it away. No one open.
There's a lot of that on the night.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. I was very impressed by the secondary in this game. Just getting to watch it from, the stands and seeing the whole picture. There were very few open receivers, very tight coverage. They felt like they could go man whenever they wanted. They felt like they could go zone whenever they wanted. You could see that they don't get too fancy with their play calls, but what they do really, really well.
More GY.
A better block. I love CJ Campbell, but he's the lead back here.
Yeah.
I know you're just trying to get in the way, but just a little bit better.
Well, I don't.
He's got to make a commitment here of he's going to try to take him to the sideline or wall him, and he just kind of whiffs. He can't make on him. Yeah. And Rodney does a great job running physically. Like that's a young man's got to continue. I feel like he's going to continue to earn touches here the way he's running the football.
Yeah, Rodney's been what we thought he is so far. There's a small sample size, but he's been pretty good so far.
Who's the free runner here? Okay.
So it's that's what I was looking for. So the tackle and the guard are comboing on this 3 technique.
They should be comboing that back to
this guy.
Yeah.
Who ends up being the free runner. But what's interesting is usually you would think you would ask the guard to overtake the 3 technique and the tackle to work up.
Right.
But here the guard's releasing and he just doesn't have the leverage. So I wonder if that's just a miscommunication, or if they just are taught that if he can't immediately, overtake that 3 tech, that he's got to be the one that releases.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they teach that.
But I mean, still probably the best blocked counter we've seen all day. Again, out of the 2 back set, so having that extra back to kind of take a hit at the safety at least gave a chance.
Whoop. Plus, did not play great. They miscommunicate a rush here. A little delay.
Yeah, he sticks on this guy.
Yeah.
It should have been clear when someone's coming inside out that there's going to be someone replacing him. And I think Bless is just a little slow seeing that.
Nice to have Jordan. Huh?
Yeah, does what he does, minimizes the loss here. Stinks to give up a sack.
Yeah, the first one of the season.
First of the season.
Pretty incredible, isn't it? Think about how far we've come.
We thought we'd be here. So you're now in 3rd and 6. You get another one-on-one.
I just don't like
this is a badly thrown
get
ball.
Bell up top. I know what's putting him here. He's got a one-on-one, and he's got Johnny, and they want him to take that one-on-one, but there's not a lot of reason to not throw that ball up top. Let's look at the structure pre-snap if we can see it.
I mean, it's just clearly man coverage here. You're getting a pretty clear man read with 1 deep safety. They're kind of banjoing it here, but I think this guy misses the switch.
Yeah, and that's just kind of, and it doesn't even. It's okay if you want to throw that, like, great, throw it to your 6'7" dude, but put it in a spot he can at least make a play on it too, right?
A competitive throw.
This is a poorly thrown ball, in my opinion. I mean, it just goes out of bounds.
And that's okay. Like, that's okay because he made a great play the play before that. Like, he's obviously going to go on and continue to make great plays. But
the Jordan scale is like
it's
there was the ball to Keon that wasn't perfect and could have been a little bit better. And then there's this one that's so we're 2 series in and 1.5 throws that you'd like to have back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that if you're going to throw it outside and wide on like a 1st and 2nd down, but on a 3rd down, you do what you can. You take the high percentage throw, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense, Kev. All right, so defense back on the field here.
Yep, they're communicating again, which is great.
Again. Yep,
and it's clean too. Like, everybody's getting it, and everybody's like, this coverage is tight.
So yeah, this is actually really cool to see this coverage here. So what's essentially happening is they've got a corner blitz coming, and that means that this linebacker and this safety have to communicate on a banjo coverage. Essentially, he's going to take first man out. He sees the wide receiver's heading inside, so he assumes that he's going to get replaced by a running back. That means the safety needs to come down. I think this is Barker, 27.
Yeah, that's a redshirt freshman there in the second.
I think he's a little slow to come down here.
Yeah,
really cool to see how much they got him in early. Like,
they trust.
That's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
You can see the feet maybe. Like, does that kind of show ambivalency there a little bit initially? It's just not a great angle.
Yeah, I think you would just like for him. You trust your defensive line to get there. You can be a little bit aggressive, kind of coming down on these routes. You're not really that worried about them having the time to do a sluggo or anything. So be there, let him catch it, tackle him at 3 yards, and call it a day.
Looks like he's opening the wall. Number 1 coming. He's just a little deep when he's doing it. I think his positioning will get better.
And that's something you'd rather him be too conservative than not. And that's something you can learn from.
Yeah, and then it just kind of gets all jumbled up there with the back coming out, and he gets a pick on both those guys trying to make the tackle. It's just kind of a weird play after he catches the ball. He'll get quicker with reps, so like that's exciting to see. That he recognizes and understood it wasn't the moment, wasn't too big for him. He just was a little slow getting there because he's still processing. What'd you say? He's a redshirt freshman?
He's a redshirt freshman who didn't play live snaps in junior college. This is his 25th the 30th live snap that we're watching right now because he played a little bit, and probably less than that. It's probably his 10th.
And he got here this summer. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't even here in spring. So
they hit on him. Like they hit on him.
Yeah.
They don't show a replay, but it seemed like an underthrown ball that they got bailed out.
That was a poor call. It was.
He pushed off.
Yeah. That was the Kalen Deloach.
Oh, smoked.
Who misses that for Southern? Oh, that's just 65. Whoever the
that's just Ole.
He just didn't even give it.
They're not having fun with that film review.
You know what's kind of fun here? That watch who takes this tight end here. Man coverage.
Ooh.
Byron Turner?
Yeah. Defensive end, Byron Turner.
Fuller's dialed it up. Like they are bringing heat. He's not afraid to send the house this year. They're doing fun stuff like dropping guys and coverage and doing stuff
later on in the game. Do like a fold as he stood up to kind of stop the run too and work inwards. And he looked really good at that. So like that's cool. That might be a nice little tool in your arsenal as he gets more reps.
Yeah, Turner and Edmond got a lot of run this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't do a ton with it, like in terms of box score stuff, but that's.
Man, this is such good communication. This is what you don't see. So they're again trying to run a similar, screen wheel concept to shallow, knowing that Florida State has to pass this off. You saw a lot last year. They'd be slow to do it, or specifically the freshmen who AZ would struggle picking up the running back out of the backfield. But just watch Tatum Bethune here. He sees it and triggers, and he's there. It's a great play.
It was a lot like the LSU, the fourth down stop that he had in that game. Just kind of similar spot and movements across the field. Not sure it was the same type of play, but
they seem prepared for everything this year. Like they seem to understand what's coming situationally.
It's a good throw.
They haven't shown me as they're lost like we've seen in the past.
And Norvell talked about that today. Like he thinks they've looked very organized and communicated very well. There's a few plays they would like to have back, and we'll see those where they kind of let a guy run free. But for the most part, like I think the staff feels very good about the way they're communicating, and it's just a good ball, right?
Is Barker supposed to be playing the whole? What's he?
Yeah, I wonder what Barker's supposed to be doing because you see
it's almost like he's got playing man on the back, but
because it looks clearly like a 3-3. Like a 3-3 zone here. So like essentially you have these 3 deep defenders and then 3 underneath defenders kind of making a 3-3, but it's kind of weird what he's doing. Because if Kevin Knowles is dropping center field, I don't know what he's supposed to be doing.
He's playing some robber then, but who's he? Yeah, he's just playing robber then.
Right. So he's just supposed to
he's playing under one and one goes vertical, so that just stays you just stay in your zone.
You can see that his eyes go there and he's breaking that way. Again, I think something that he could be a step faster in and that would shore up that coverage a little bit.
Yeah.
But a young guy getting reps in a game where it's good to have those problems.
In the first quarter of this game too. So clearly they are showing some belief in him long term.
All right. So we got 4th and 3.
No soup for you.
Watch the reaction from the sideline.
Did you tweet that today?
Walks out of bounds
from somebody.
I did.
That's great. Look at J-Dub coming up, fitting the run. He's played well at nickel.
Yeah, he has. He's played well. Fast. Yeah.
And then Barker's there again, cleaning it up.
Yeah, I wonder. It feels like this shouldn't have been a first down run, though.
Shouldn't have been? What do you mean?
I think a good team gets a first down here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or even an aware running back probably gets a first down here.
Well, you get the illegal clip out there or the illegal block out there, so that negates it. It's just Jet. It's just Jet. The kid runs the bubble. They're just a little slow. I think
Tatum Bethune's a little slow.
Okay.
It feels like Bethune's got to take the outside
and let
this guy inside.
Yeah.
To his help. I think that's what I'm seeing here. That's the kind of funky thing,
Okay.
but it works out. All right, 1st and 10, Florida State. We'll split outside zone action.
It's
Can you get
another
the
one
one
I
on?
thought Jordan underthrew a little bit.
Yeah, if you lead Johnny a little bit more, he's not having to go back to it. You still want that. You still want Johnny to make that catch.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely. Guys are in his face. He's just kind of fading away from it instead of stepping into the throw. Like that's one I think you can lead Johnny, and he's going to walk into the end zone probably.
Do you
But
think
that's also
Southern
when
Miss,
Johnny usually catches.
Do you think Southern Miss, like they seem to? You guys know better than I would. It seems like they were conceding. Like we'll let them run past us and play this trail technique, and just know we're going to fight the ball like through the arms. Like they're not trying to get in phase with them. They're allowing them to.
Yeah, I don't think they had any hopes of getting any interceptions or anything. I do
Right.
think that's exactly what they were trying to do. They were
Mhm.
going to trail this guy. They were going to stick to his back hip, and they were going to watch his hands. As soon as they go up, they stick their hands up to him. But that's pretty standard technique.
Yeah.
They did it fairly well. I think that's why you see PFF grade Jordan Travis high, because this is about as good of a throw as you'll see a college quarterback make. It could be better, but it's a completable ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a completable ball. It's not an A ball from him, but
I wouldn't call that a Johnny drop. Like,
yeah, it's fairly
that's a hell
decent
of a
coverage
catch too. Right.
Yeah,
but that's what you expect Johnny. Like that's why you have Johnny out
Yeah.
there, because he can make those catches.
Outside zone, they block this well. It's just kind of into the boundary and just gets kind of jumbled up over there.
Yeah, not
Southern
a ton
Miss,
of room.
He more just runs out of space than anything.
They're doing some of their pre-play shifts. They did a lot of that throughout the game. I don't know if that's super crazy.
Southern Miss.
Florida State does that now. But
all right, yeah, they bring the house.
Yeah, screen.
What goes wrong with this screen?
They kind of cover it up, like they're just on it. They're running some games, and guys just kind of fall into it.
Am I crazy that it feels like Toa Philly doesn't get enough space out here, or is he about at the right width?
watch 8 on this. He stunts and kind of just like almost takes such a big loop that he's just in position.
Yeah, I think the sloppiness of their stunt like almost messes his play up.
Helped it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think 93 kind of gets Toa Philly off of where he's supposed to be, like kind of off track, and then it's just all.
Yeah.
I think watch Byers on that one more time, please. There was one play where I thought Byers wasn't great with. This may have been it, but I didn't. So is that right tackle?
You got
a smothered that guy.
Big defensive tackle rushing from the edge, like they just kind of fall into that one more than anything.
Okay. So 4th and 5, they're going for it. This was a talking point throughout the days. Mike going for it on 4th down, and FSU's 4 or 5 on it. Ultimately, it seemed like that kind of fit into his game plan. Like, obviously don't want to be going for a 4th down a lot, but they want to run a lot of plays. So him being aggressive was.
But I think that's what you want to do on offense. I don't think it has anything to do with game plan. I think it's just you're a team. What are you going to do? Punt this ball?
No.
Yeah, I know.
On the opposing, I think you don't want to be in 4th down against this team. I think is more like
that's the bigger question
because be more successful earlier. Like they had something like 52 plays or something that went for 3 yards or less. Like that's not great. This game just felt very boom or bust. Some of that was it's not some of it. A ton of it was the inability to connect on some of these deep balls. Like that absolutely killed you.
Okay, so this play, couldn't see it in the broadcast. It was a read. It was a read. It was a hot read. So it was one of those running plays where Jordan Travis sees a blitz from the edge, sees that he's got an open Johnny Wilson, and he throws it out there, and Johnny just wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever showed a replay of it or anything, but
they didn't.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He pulled it, throwing it to Johnny. It was a hot read. So it wasn't part of the call, but Johnny just wasn't paying attention. So that was a pretty disappointing play to see them. Johnny just seemed to be kind of out of rhythm with Jordan for the day.
Did you think Jordan got frustrated with some of the wide receiver play in this game?
I think he was
Yeah, I think
frustrated
so.
with himself. And I think it's funny, like in practices when it's almost like he and Johnny are like codependent. I don't know the better way to phrase it. Like where one of them's having a rough day and the other one will feel that for the other one. And I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my interpretation based on just us being there at practices and stuff. I think that's kind of how I viewed it. Was like he was just kind of frustrated with himself and he was disappointed that he wasn't able to get his guy and have a better day.
I kind of thought the same thing. I don't know if I remember seeing it on like the message board or something like that. That somebody was like, Jordan had his head down. He's the Heisman talks too much for him. I just don't buy that. Like, I think
watch
he's
Jordan when he
fine.
picks up a first down at one point. He
Right.
gives smiles, puts. I mean,
Yeah.
he's very serious this year because he knows what's at stake, and that's
Okay, keep
different
it
than him
playing.
being, bitter or just tight. I guess
This
Right.
makes me think the last one wasn't an RPO. Because it's the exact same thing where he's looking front side and he goes backside, even though backside is covered up.
Covered up.
So it makes it feel like that was a play call.
Interesting. I was just giving the look. So offensive line surging forward again, and some of those guys.
Yeah, and play action. I mean, you'll do that.
Yeah,
it's not uncommon.
So 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10. All right. Pressure.
Byers, nice job coming off though. Like
that's another like where you feel like does Jordan not lead it? Like can he lead that better, or is that just one Span needs to catch?
No, I think it's got to be out in front. I mean,
a yard this way, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, it's walk in, not contested at all.
But this is also Southern Miss doing a really good job playing through this ball.
Absolutely.
I mean, you got to give credit there. That's
look at him there at the end, like swatting at it still.
I mean, look,
his
hand is up in there.
Ball. Yeah, they did a great job.
How much is like? I mean, you have Morlock cross. I don't think he gets the first down, but they were playing for a 4th and manageable underneath.
I think you trust
your
athletes.
Throw. He underthrows it a little bit, and that DB does a hell of a job.
Like Span isn't a jump ball. Like you either take a top, the top off a defense type.
But that's why you give him an extra yard or two because he has won this route.
We're not talking about this. We're talking about you freed up Span one-on-one and his speed took over.
Right. So it's the right read potentially. It's just you gotta. And that's the thing is that you can't really give him a bad grade because this is still kind of a catchable ball, but like,
well, that's
one you can be better at.
They talk about matchups all the time, and if like it's a leadable ball, then do Span like that's what you want. But if it's you're saying come back and get it, then you want Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, Darren Williamson to be the one doing that, and that's not Span's arsenal right now. Unless they're just trying to work on stuff. So this is kind of the nuance that's interesting to rewatch this game and talk about with you guys.
I don't know if any receiver comes down with that ball, with how Southern Miss played that. You'd have some like ridiculous hands.
Darren Williamson would have. What? Jordan Travis just being Jordan Travis, like
Is there any reason for pressure? Yeah.
Roddick's just. I mean, you see Roddick's feet a little bit here. He sometimes he gets a little stuck in the mud, and this guy just beats him on a move. Then it all kind of falls apart once Jordan gets scrambling around there.
Darius does a nice job with hands up, but they talk Atkins about the
Fire's like, oh, I can do that too.
I do think hands up is one of the worst things you can do in athletics when you're trying to not get a penalty called on you. You just look guilty when you throw your hands up in there.
that was actually that might have been a blindside block.
No.
I love
not
watching
Byers.
I love watching Byers in game. Like he is so animated after plays.
He does have a lot of energy, and you see his footwork and stuff too, and speed show up sometimes. There's so much there. Yeah.
He cleaned a lot up from LSU to this week, and maybe it's opponent. I don't know, but
I think that's on Byers.
I think this was the play that Byers. This was the screenplay with Byers. I thought he was sloppy on.
He needs to be out there faster. I think.
Yeah, this was it.
He gets lost there. I don't think he's got to be on this faster.
It's bizarre.
He kind of gets stuck trying to get on this block. Like
at this point, I think you need to just.
He needs to be working his way downfield. He's too flat on the line of scrimmage.
Right.
He's got to understand that ball is going to try to come up underneath of him.
Right. So even if he just he could just turn his hips and be upfield and just get inside of this guy. And this is a big play.
Like he should, if he's working upfield right now and gets into 35, the play goes for quite a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the Jimbo's out the gate? How he loved to use that phrase. One more, we're out the gate. Go. And this first few drives for the offense just feels so much like one little detail, 1 foot differently.
Yeah.
Like
there's been a handful of those situations.
Yeah.
We looked at the outside zone earlier, like it was going if Bless makes that block. Yeah.
So this is inside zone. This is one of the ones I was most disappointed with. You got a double team here, doesn't really get much movement. You're just really not resetting Southern Miss's defensive line here.
Just saying the surge in general isn't what you're looking for.
I mean, you get a combo here, you get a combo inside, and you're just hoping to, reset this line here. And then you can kind of worry about pushing forward for another 3 or 4 against a team like Southern Miss.
Right. That makes sense.
I mean, how do you feel, AB?
No, I agree with you.
This is what I think. This is the play that came to my mind when I was in the instant reaction. I was saying that I was disappointed by your ability to run the football just because I don't think that you're getting the push that you're needing to. On a play on inside zone, which is just push forward play. But, they've actually been fairly successful on 3rd and 4th and shorts when it matters. So,
well, and the other thing is they run that play again later and it goes for 30 or something.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
That's what there was this.
They're actually getting ready to run it. They're getting ready to run it now. And it's the same exact play and it goes for a touchdown.
There's a feast or famine aspect to the way like Southern Miss is very aggressive, attacking. And I think, there you go.
This is the one I texted about yesterday. Look at the backer. He's sprinting to the screen. If that kid's there, I mean, it's a first down because Trey's going to run him over, but it's not going for a touchdown.
Yeah, that's the Keon Coleman effect. I guess they're kind of in like a cover 4 type situation. But
he
still
just turns instantly though. Yeah, I mean that'll work.
Yeah,
but even up front, you got this guy breaking this double team.
Yeah. Darius and Roddick get split there, which is you don't want that. But still, it goes. I think that it's coachable stuff that gets cleaned up as Mo gets back in there or Darius plays more or whoever, and Roddick continues to get his feet wet and understanding the offense and kind of like he's way overextended there. So I guarantee Alex got on him about that.
I think Darius uses that. No, Darius uses the leverage. Well, I mean, 94 is the best interior player for Southern Miss. I think guys could play for some P5 teams.
Like I think there's a little confusion there of who's blocking what.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it looks like Washington's late getting in there.
So it's clean up stuff. Like I said earlier, like
the onside kick.
They need to get back to the drawing board and keep cleaning it up.
Do you think this was called? Do you think that
absolutely 100%?
Okay, so you don't think he's just got some red, like a green light when they're 14 yards deep?
Mike knew he could hang 100.
They talked about that today. That this was something they wanted to do. If they saw something, they saw something. And
it's good to get it on film. It's good to get your offense more reps.
Love this. Jaheim Brown recovers it, hurts his wrist on it, and is still celebrating rather than just like, okay, I'm in pain. So that's it. Different cat, man. Lake City, a little different. So you get the offense all back again. You're going to start putting some game pressure on Southern Miss pretty early, which is what you want to do, right?
See, this is what stinks is that this is like the best catch of the night, and it's mitigated because the corner pushed him out of bounds.
I just
Shouldn't
love
that be a completion if the cornerback pushes you out and you work yourself back in bounds?
You have to establish yourself before catching it.
And he was close to doing it. It just
it was like
balls there a little too soon. But I just don't understand why he's not taking the shallow to Keon.
Right. Yeah, that's the interesting question. Is that
it's just like, and I'm sure they give him the freedom. Like you get a 1-on-1 to Keon or Johnny, take it. Like I'm very confident of that, but
I have a feeling in a game like a big game scenario, he's more likely to just take that underneath route. I think they were trying to work.
Why not practice good habits?
Yeah, No, I think that's a fair credit. I think what you're both saying is something that makes sense. I think there's this element of like trying to get Johnny going.
Yeah. I think you're right.
LSU,
You
I know
said
he was
that well earlier.
yeah. So I'm viewing all that in the prism of like them trying to get Johnny in a good place again.
Yeah.
All right. I got the most neutrally faced ref telling us.
Good old Wildcat.
I had the mother-in-law text me during the game saying, "Why is number 9 at quarterback?" She loves Jordan Travis. I think took this personally. She didn't know what Wildcat was though. Wasn't sure it was happening here.
GT, and you see
GT counter.
The concerns with GT always is that it leaves yourself vulnerable.
Well, yeah, their end does a good job. Well, the backer they run the backer through, so that doesn't help.
Does Roddick Poling get a nice like? Is this enough?
He's too deep. He's too deep. Yeah. And then the play gets blown up because the blitzing backer is able to get into Bless's hit pocket and just kind of chases things out from behind.
It's a good play call. I mean, you call a backer blitz right into a vacating guard. You know.
Yeah, why is the right guard as far back after? Like, what does he? So Keandre ends up getting into the back, like working backwards. What's happening there?
Yeah, it looks like he peels back almost.
Keandre Jones.
Yeah. So watch, he has initial, and then
I think he's lost.
Okay. I mean, that's what it looks like. I just didn't know there was something that
32 is his man. That's what he's doing. 32 is his guy. That's who he should be blocking. But he comes underneath. So
the idea is that he would be able to block back on this backer. This is kind of his job. And since this black backer comes in, he's kind of lost.
So this is I want to be fair to AB, and like I think his initial frustration after the game is like you're talking about like 3 or 4 things in this play that could be cleaned up. Like that's and that's a difference. Like that's what you're trying to work towards is where that's
and it will get cleaned up. And people got so frustrated with me being frustrated, but like I also said, they just need time. Like they just need time and opportunity to get into practice, clean this stuff up, and it's going to come. Like I'm very confident.
That's what we said that's what I said in the instant is that it's good that this is happening now because Southern Miss is just good enough to present you these challenges, present you these things that you can work on. And they're things.
This feels like a coach's dream, doesn't it, Kev? Like think about like when you're like your coaches would get mad at you guys in a game you would win or something like that. Like this is what coaches want is to be able to say,
put up they put up how many points? 66 points or whatever, and
this is Jaheim, 100%.
And there's a bunch of mistakes, like, and you can still go clean them up.
You can praise the effort still. Like, there's good things still, like that. You're like, like the core values of who we are there. It's like we just need to get tired. Oh, yeah, Jaheim does get.
Yeah, that's piss poor by him.
So Jaheim, if he pins this guy down, that means Byers can work up to the safety. But since he gets blown up, that means Byers has to block this guy since he's the first one that shows. Which means that this backer and this scraping safety can come in and make the tackle. So that's the difference between this being a 20-yard run, potentially a touchdown, one-on-one in space against a safety versus being a 3-yard gain.
3-4 yards, yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. Things need to get fixed up. Jaheim Bell you can't do this against Georgia and expect to run the football.
Nope. You got to be better than that all the time.
Against Georgia, that linebacker's scraping over and getting you a 1 yard.
And maybe that's unfair to say against Georgia, but I think that they all believe that's the ceiling of this team.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell he didn't finish this.
This feels like, I don't know, like it just slipped out of his sweaty arm. Sounds so weird.
It was a weird.
That's a visual, Kev. Thank you for painting the picture. 4th and 4 again, a low snap. That was probably the one bad snap of the day for Darius.
But see, this is what I'm talking about. Even this is another ball that's underthrown. Yeah. Even Keon Coleman, even superstar Keon Coleman, doesn't matter if it's Deuce Spann, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson. This is a hard ball to complete. They're doing a really good job getting the hands up through it. And I think this is on Jordan Travis again.
Yeah, and that's not like the other ones at least have been one-on-ones too, right? Like that's not what this is.
Yeah, this is double coverage.
Yeah.
They actually covered this play really well too. Like they've kind of got Jaheim. They don't have him doubled here, but I think they've got that covered. I think people are going to see that come open. He might fit that in there, but
I think
And
the
that's
throw
probably
was to
your
Morlock, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I kind of did too.
breaking. Oh,
Let him
yeah.
develop a little bit more. He's gonna,
Damn
I mean,
referee got in the
this
way.
is a drive concept, a shallow concept, whatever
Mhm.
you want to call it, right? You've got the 3-level throw with him kind of coming over the top, and you see the safety bite here. That means you've got, you got to work down. I think
yeah, I agree.
I think it's just a little bit of a misread and an underthrow. But yeah, it seems to be the theme of the night for him is that, I mean, we're talking about underthrows. These are like half a yard underthrow.
Yeah, it's tight.
And
Tight
in
window.
general, you'd rather leave it short and give your guy a chance, you know?
I feel like a lot of time when I see Jordan off, it's a little juiced and it's like high. So it's just interesting to see a consistent theme of it of being underthrown. All right,
Great,
defense now.
beautiful.
Man, I love how
Beautiful.
aggressive they are against screens.
Who's that, Greedy? In
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
They're just aggressive, period now. Like there's no more catching.
Yeah. Greedy was in people's shit on perimeter drills on Wednesday. So it's just fun to see that, like, things you see in practice carry over to game.
We've seen
This is-
Akeem be a liability at times, come up and fitting, and this is against Frank Gore
Yeah.
Jr., who's a good running back. Like
Good angle,
he's downhill
right?
in a hurry and he finishes his play.
That's great. That's textbook.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice alley run. Like go get
Hopefully
it.
he's not out for too long with the looked like a hammy.
And you
Good
see
job
them
by DJ
spilling.
Lundy with block destruction there.
Yep. That forces him to break it outside. That gives your guy a chance.
Yep. Holy crap. We're at an hour and we're only not even through the first quarter. What in the world are we doing?
This is probably the Brendan effect, the Sonone effect, and not having to.
There's a lot to
you
talk
guys-
about, though. There's a lot to talk about. A lot's
I'd
been
probably say
said. There's a lot
20 minutes of this hour has been you defending yourself from the instant reaction.
minutes.
But it's done. He's done it. We've set him up for it, and
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Look at this.
Is it Jarian?
Yeah, Jarian Jones down here, man coverage.
Cool. We're seeing Jarian be effective from
Jams.
outside and inside. Like that's
I mean, look, he's capped this guy.
perfect.
He is one step ahead of him, turns his head the whole time. If this throw goes anywhere other than where it's thrown, that's probably an interception.
This is
Beautiful.
horrible. You can't see it. Didn't look like much of a roughing the passer, but
They talked about that today. They were like,
This is it. That was it.
so
This is the roughing the passer.
Yeah.
the ball's
I thought
literally
he was
coming
a
out of his
little-
hand as he's hitting him.
I thought he was a little late in real time, but like it's not egregious. It's not awful.
I love the games they're playing.
Dude,
Finally.
that is so not faster or roughing the passer. Yeah, the inside games.
Yeah.
That stunt. Yep.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah. He's unleashed his defense.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah, it
simple.
looks like this
It's
Memphis
not
defense,
that
doesn't it?
complex.
It does. It looks a lot like the Memphis defense. You're right,
It's
Brendan.
funny.
Less zone than the Memphis defense. Less
Mhm.
cover 3 and just a ton of man. This
Yeah.
is why everybody's so frustrated. Like, why so much man? Why so much man? They're playing so much man because they were playing for this year. Like they were getting these guys ready.
All right. This is where Dent gets hurt.
This
We blew
is
something here. Oh, we jumped the screen. That's why.
Yeah. This is one of the few like miscommunication.
Yep.
I actually think Jarian Jones is wrong here. So I think they're in a box cover 4. So you've got your four corners of a box is what you can think about it.
Mhm.
And this guy runs a post, and instead of seeing him go inside and giving him a way to help to Jaheim Brown, I think he carries him, which means this guy follows and there's no one there. So I think that's on Jarian Jones, who's here. See how you have two guys in the same place?
Mhm.
Think he's supposed to peel off on that. So miscommunication.
We believe.
I think. Yeah.
I think you're
usually
right. No, yep. No, I think you're 100% right.
It makes sense. You don't have to defend yourself, Kev. You don't have to defend yourself like we've made AB defend himself.
J
I don't
Double
think
be up in the
anybody's made
YouTube
him defend
comments. They'll be up in the YouTube comments saying, "Come on now."
All right. So you don't love to see this.
A little bit of
Inside
surge.
zone.
Yeah, they kind of split you here.
This is who's this? Is this Omar Graham?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get over top too much.
Yeah.
It was like it looked like him and Greedy are kind of playing the same lane. I don't know.
No, Greedy's following man coverage here.
Okay.
Maybe they could zoom it in a little bit and we not be in.
Yeah,
East
I feel like I'm doing a lot of squinting on this. I won't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the best view, and even I can't see it.
Is there a way for me to make this full? Oh, I can make it full screen. There we go. That'll help a little bit.
We're letting you guys behind the
Farmer eating the
scenes.
double team.
All right.
This is the lone scoring drive that the ones gave up, right?
All right, so Byron, he spills it.
Yeah, this is counter. Byron
So you
just
gotta-
blows it up.
They're just running. I mean, yeah. Okay, so Omar's a little late getting here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Omar
he
Graham
starts
needs to-
tracking back inside.
Well, he's got to be flatter, like keep coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of
Yeah,
falls there.
I don't know if he thinks he's overrun it or. Yeah, I wish I could draw. He's too
Yeah,
deep. Like he's got to be.
Yeah, he's got to keep getting over the top of the.
Yeah, he's got to keep pressing it.
from there.
Like he's just too deep.
Yeah.
All right.
So he kind of pauses here. Needs to be uphill,
Yeah, there
making
you
that
go.
play.
Yep, there you go. Knowles is
Right
good
there.
on the cutback.
Yeah. Just put Knowles in a position to have to make that tackle downfield. Does a good job with it.
So, but teachable moments for Omar Graham, who hasn't, he's a sophomore or a redshirt freshman, a guy that you're developing him in there. So you're getting him good live reps in the second quarter of a 14-0 football game against a quality opponent.
Mhm.
Able to put some teachable film on tape for him.
They talk about investing in Omar a lot. Like they use that phrase for him, investing reps, and this is a good example of it.
Ooh, there's a little classic Adam Fuller, the fold technique by the. I remember
that
Brendan
Byron?
writing. Brendan, if you recall writing an article on that, like when the first
Yes.
years.
We were trying to explain what a fox was. I had to look up what fold
Yep.
meant. That was new to me. So
I remember it.
I learned it and I applied it and I remembered it.
So that's what he's doing here. He's folding. But he's going to drop into like a linebacker position. Then he's going to fit this run.
Kind of makes me sad they don't call it fox anymore. Spent a lot of time telling people what it was, and people not listening to me and telling me I was wrong.
That's beautiful, though. That's textbook defense.
I mean, I think just when you get to where they want to be recruiting wise and developmental wise, I mean, they just do it all. Hopefully, it's not Memphis where you have to find a guy that's, a specialist. All right, let's go
You ever have
runs a
like
little
you're
bit.
trying to make your hip pop and it just won't? It's been like an hour for me.
Yeah.
Jaheim needs to finish that tackle, but DJ Lundy's in the right place. All right, 3rd and 12. They
Cash down. Let's go.
There's a miscommunication, a bogus penalty to get him to this position. So
Yeah, the drive ends if Peyton doesn't get thing there.
Oh, we've got a miscommunication here.
And you have 3 guys, so you have it what should be covered, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's going on here, but it seems like someone should be peeling off on 42.
Yeah, they miscommunicate the switch over there, obviously.
I think it's on Vance, to be honest with you.
I do too. Yeah,
it looks like it's on Vance based on Shaheem's reaction.
You would think he's got second out.
Yeah, he should be. Yeah, there should be a natural switch there, letting Shaheem Wall anything. Their number 2 coming inside to him.
Yeah, that's probably on
number
Vance.
1's going to be locked on with. I can't tell who it is.
That's
AZ.
AZ.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
He's going to take number 1 no matter what. A few years ago, someone would have been waving their hands and be like, "Oh, we got off the field here." Guys are going over right away, being like, "That was not right, man."
Right.
And also, I mean, look at this blitz. They do a stunt, occupy the tackle, get this guy going inside, blitz off the edge, comes free.
Yeah, they brought Knowles up top too.
And like, if the backside doesn't miscommunicate there, like that's perfect. You're forcing the quarterback to get rid of the ball early. Like that's the goal on that one is to force pressure.
Right, and you did, and that's kind of you're playing, cover 0.
Can we? Are there any more memorable plays in the first half that like we need to watch?
I'm trying to think.
I mean, I think a lot of the same themes.
Can we jump to the second half so we can look at some of the?
Watch this. All right, so this play real quick. I'd like to watch. So Jordan Kev's highlighting him not going to Destin Hill. Watch the reaction from the sideline with Johnny not catching the ball. This is what I thought was interesting. So a couple of analysts and guys just like seem more, there's like a level of frustration that I can't quite like put my finger on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we can skip to the second half.
But it's weird because that play earlier in the game, he threw to Jaheim Bell. It's the same play. He throws it to Jaheim Bell, and there he doesn't throw it to Destin Hill, who's running wide open, and chucks it to Johnny.
Again, I felt like he was, really trying to get Johnny to get going.
Seemed like some force feeding on his part. All right.
So we've for the sake of time, we're up here into the second half.
I think it's important we get to see some of the young kids that got to play. I mean, they played 102 or 103 guys. Like, love to give them some love too for their play.
That's good coverage. Tight window. All right.
I'm glad Keon got a lot of live reps with punt return because obviously it's going to be important as the year goes on here. All right.
Again, inside zone, you'd like to see a little bit better push there.
He bounces it. Yeah. It just bounces into an unblocked man.
And he doesn't really have the hips you want to be just bouncing.
No.
But here you go.
Here's a little toss G play here.
This is some of the counter stuff you're talking about.
Yep.
The safety's coming down. There's no one there. You get numbers on the front side. Get Benson going down in space.
And he does what he does best once he's getting downhill.
Good job by Keon Coleman sticking with the guy downfield.
Oh, I do think we missed the
Keon.
But
The leap.
Oh, the jump. Yeah.
People have seen plenty of the leap, but they don't need.
I think we need Trey to do full justice for that play.
I think so too.
All right, Conrad Hussey's in. Oh, we missed Conrad Hussey's interception because I still think it was one.
Yeah, it was hard to tell if it hit the ground. All right, yeah, Nicholson is in.
We're starting to get some of the young guys. Blake looks a little lost, which is natural.
I think he's actually ends up on the right guy, but yeah.
Yeah, his feet look like they're lagging is all. I don't.
Yeah, a little hesitant.
Like actually,
Fuller today had a funny. Oh, let's talk about this. It's your boy Jarian.
Great coverage, just physical on the ball. Yep. Like this is what we've been clamoring for.
Within the first 5 yards, you can get your hands on him. He does. Throws off the timing. Was ready.
Cover 2 man.
He knows what's coming. Like it's just great.
Kev, do you get like a swelling like sense of pride every time Jarian does something well at nickel?
Well, yeah. Ever since we did the Valentine's Day show with him, it feels like
Mr. Loverboy.
Well, it's cool because we talked about it all off season about how they needed to get more physical in there, more length in there, and like
who's 28?
That's Justin Cryer.
Justin Cryer. Okay. I like this play from Cryer because like the effort. Like it's not like
But he's where DJ Lundy was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Very aggressive. He knows where to be. I mean, this is a smart play. He sees this happening. He disengages. You just see that his body's physically not where they want it to be yet necessarily.
Yeah,
but that can change.
They're going to unlock some more athleticism from him.
I think he's a hit. Like I think he's a guy you can build with.
I think that play alone shows you that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that fist get off. Let's watch that from the beginning again. I can't wait for him to get his first sack. And
that's fun.
He's just explosive.
Yeah, very explosive.
Gilbert Edmonds has shown I feel like he's shown that he's a hit. Like
Edmonds and Turner have been very pleasant surprises.
Is that who's 16 is Quindarius? Sorry,
that's Quindarius Jones. He had a nice game after getting burnt against LSU. I thought he responded well.
He's coming on the corner blitz. You got Edwin Joseph and Conrad Hussey out there on coverage. All right, you got to be more physical out there if you're Edwin Joseph.
Edwin had a couple of where I thought he just let the blocker kind of take him where he wanted to.
He needs to keep it on the outside.
Yep,
Conrad's running the alley. He needs to keep his outside arm free. He allows himself to get turned here. That can't happen.
Yeah, if he gets outside leverage, it allows this guy to know where to be.
Yep. So. Good coaching points for him moving forward.
Does Gilbert get moved off number 19 there playing field side defensive end? Does he get moved off too much?
he tries to get back inside. Like, yeah.
But the ball was already kind of bouncing outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Let's see. They wanted to go after Quindarius. I think he was manned up on. Is 16 their best guy?
I thought one is, but still, Quindarius he's in position quite a bit, a good position quite a bit.
I think he does let one play go by.
Yeah, he gave up one reception that was a longer one, but other than that, he had a PBU, he had a tackle for loss. Like,
is this when Frank Gore quit? Boy, they had that dude mad. They had him so mad.
Yeah, he didn't get many touches. I mean, you could tell they did not want to run into FSU's defensive front. They wanted to test the secondary. They wanted to see if they could throw the football, and they couldn't.
Here we go, Kev. Take time.
Ooh,
he basically had a perfect passer rating on the game.
They've got to play Biscuit more.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Legitimately, he's got to play more.
Is this of the three good throws he could have made the less of the three in terms of like, where does he get like? What does 15 do? Like, I think it's
the right throw.
I think that's just the first read. He sees it open, he throws it.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely working triangle there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at
it. Does look like he's like the most covered, doesn't it?
It does. If 15 doesn't do,
it looks a little messy. Like, I'm not used to seeing out routes with a wheel coming through it.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting looking.
And he had, I don't know, but hey,
don't question the Biscuit.
You get the 285-pound dude moving. It's all right.
The thing about
he's got to play more though. Like, legitimately,
I think he would open up your counter game a lot.
I do too. I think he would open your running game up. Period. Some more.
And he's clearly an asset in the passing game. I mean, how many corners can take that man down?
I know they love the versatility that Jaheim Bell brings to the offense.
Even more
being able to line him up in mismatches and whatnot. I think you miss a little bit of that blocking by a guy like Biscuit.
All right, I fumbled.
Doink.
All right.
He's a clear hit on development, though. I love watching that kid play.
Biscuit?
Yeah. All right,
what is this
hard on play action, and God only knows what's going on down the field.
It was good coverage.
It's quite the series for Kev there to have the Tate touchdown and the Quindarius celebrate. I mean,
it doesn't get much better than this.
All of his guys.
I mean, Jarian Jones picked not too long ago either. This is a victory lap type of episode for Kev.
He's got him smothered. It was I remember it being decent coverage. I think the ball's overthrown. You can see even the freshmen communicating, doing a good job here.
Daniel Lyons and Malcolm Ray inside.
Yeah, let's see.
So where's this pop? Oh, Jaden Jones in a defensive end. He got a lot of burn. I was kind of surprised to see him playing.
Yeah, it's good for him to get as many. It's someone else very similar to Ashlyn Barker, where he was in junior college and didn't get to play a lot. So
yeah, I agree.
It's like a freshman.
Does Malcolm Ray kind of get pushed inside here?
This is not his strength, playing the run.
Because I think Blake's in the right gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe get a little.
And Cottrell looks like he runs a little wide, but I think that gap, that's where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need Malcolm Ray to hold up a little better point of attack.
I do think that the linebackers might have been a little over ambitious, kind of filling out the.
Oh yeah, they're wanting to come make plays.
Yeah. Oh, Quindarius.
Come on. Sold a lemon.
Come on, Q.
Yeah. So he's man coverage against, a decent wide receiver here. Their starters are still in.
Yeah, one's
on a slant route.
Yeah.
It's pretty tight coverage. I mean, I'm not upset with this.
I think you're comfortable with your corner giving that up.
They fit it well. It's just a play.
Other guys on scholarship too.
That's right.
I mean, these are true freshmen we're working with.
I'm also pointing out a lot of Jimbo.
There we go.
Jabril Rawls downfield here. He flashed a few times.
Don't want him getting beat inside.
Yeah, he got beat inside. You can see his hands are a little slow here off the snap. He kind of reaches
Feet are a
and
little,
misses.
his feet are a little lazy too. You want
Yeah.
the feet moving a little
These
bit
are
more.
just prime examples of guys thinking and not like in a position yet where they're
Yep.
just and it's like that's coming. That's so rewarding with this coaching stuff. Like that so far that's the evidence. Like they will get better.
All right, what happens here?
Linebacker gets reached.
Jane Jones gets reached here. He's got to stay outside, obviously.
Yeah, and then I think Nicholson's a little bit overambitious inside here.
Yeah, he's shooting this gap and
He's supposed
runs
to.
into a big body.
And then Cottrell's got to work over this.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's Jaden Jones. Like there's basically two guys
Yeah.
fighting for the same gap. I would imagine it's probably the end having to keep contained.
Yeah. Those two guys have to buy enough time for the other linebacker to get there.
Yeah.
All right. Split zone. Good job.
Anderson holding up well on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this is the
Lyons.
upside of Daniel Lyons, right?
Yeah.
It's so funny. I was telling Dan, I think it was after this play, like we were talking about in the press box, like Lyons' strength doesn't make a ton of sense to me, like just based on his frame and stuff, which makes me think he's going to be really, really, really good in like a year or so.
He's just
he's
so
freaking long. But then you saw, I was watching him on a pass play earlier, and he engaged one with length, and he was like, "Okay, I don't know what to do now."
Yeah,
So,
I think that's his thing, is that he's got the length, he's got the frame. It's the football.
I think he's going to be a really good player.
Cottrell with a really good play here.
Mm-hmm. They like Cottrell. He's Jesuit. Shout out to Brett Nevitt, Jesuit High School in Tampa.
All right, what do we have here?
Man.
Yeah, this is a real tricky play. They're running a route. FSU's kind of got that switching stuff going. I guess they're not switching. He's on 2 all the way. He just hard route to cover. It's a clear out, isolate man on man.
Too much space between he and the receiver, and a nice throw by the quarterback throwing him open.
They like this. They're going against this is Southern Miss's first team all the way across the board, and they're forcing them to drive. What was this? End up being like a 13-play drive, I think.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Turner and Emmons in there. Turner shows that athleticism and speed. Like, well, you get a chance to see his tools, and you get why they're excited about him.
And I think this is another situation where Nicholson might be a little bit too aggressive here. I think he sees run, and he's
coming downhill on everything.
Yeah. And then Cottrell just doesn't have the.
Which I'd rather my freshman linebackers, come forward than not. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I feel like you can coach them to slow down.
Another Jimboism. Rather say whoa than giddy up.
Yeah, you can't coach guys to come forward.
But what's nice about all this conversation we're having is it's stuff that we were saying about the first teamers 2 years ago.
Yep.
Oh, this is decent coverage.
Yeah,
They're just getting beat in man coverage, and that's something you can fix and work on, and you see the difference with kids who've been in the program. All right.
This Blake Nicholson play is the chef kiss of like this is what he will become. This is what you're building to, is this athleticism.
I mean, this dude running the wheel routes fast as hell. Like,
he's in. Yeah. I mean, it almost get like that's. Fuller said today that Blake Nicholson had a moment like the first week or so of camp where he was asking questions that Adam would answer and then be like, oh boy, like this is just some really basic stuff. And now he's being able to explain things. And like, that's an example of a guy, like he can start playing faster.
Yep.
Yeah. He's clearly got the athleticism. I mean, here
he reads this really well. Like his eyes, they get to where they need to be.
I mean, this is a tricky formation. I don't think people recognize just how tricky this is. Right. You've got 3 receivers on one side, and then you've got a fast 4. So that's tough for all these guys to communicate who's going to pick up this running back coming this way. Someone's got to leave his guy because you can't expect him to trail the running back all the way. So there's got to be some communication and switching here.
Yeah, because I think Cottrell's taken the back on anything to the flat.
Yep.
And passing number 3 off to Nicholson. And if the back were to run an angle route, then Nicholson's going to take it, and Cottrell's going to pick up number 3. So you can see Nicholson's eyes, like they're in good position.
Yeah, it's good processing, right?
Yep.
It's just I think he's a step behind where you want him to be.
Probably.
which is
Just-
is normal. You have to expect he knows there's 4 people one step faster, but he's in the right place.
Well, I think the step forward is what kills him. And
Yeah,
again,
always. But man, look at look at the length of this guy and the length of this guy.
Quindarius has really good coverage. I know that's not where they're going with the ball, but like,
Yeah, just patient, just smothers. All right. Jabril Rawls,
a little early,
a little
just
early.
bit.
a little anxious.
Right.
How fun is this though, guys? Like, we're going to break down true freshmen playing for an entire half of football. Like, how valuable is this? Is like for
It's great.
what we do. This is fun. Cottrell
Just
just
offers a lot of insight into the future of this program.
Yeah.
Dante Anderson again. He's just got to
sorry,
get off,
Blake.
got to disengage, make that play.
Yeah, I think he's got to make this easier because they're having to do something kind of tricky where he's going to stalk block here.
Yeah,
That means the corner has to fill.
right. I think Blake's wrong. I believe
Blake,
that's
yeah,
Blake
he
anyway.
comes up too
Yeah.
quickly again.
He just runs to A gap and
Hmm.
let's see what happens.
Because that is his gap, but you
Mhm.
still have to be able to read and
Yeah.
adapt and help out your corner who's having to switch off this guy and then fill the run. That's
Well,
really tough.
There's a difference between pressing your gap and then running into the dude that's going to block you. That's okay.
Classic Kev defending Quindarius. All right, so let's go Tate drive. Let's do the Brock drive, then we're good. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Nice run by
Whew, really nice.
your boy Rodney Hill.
Yeah, this
Really
is
nice, Rodney. Really good balance.
all right. So touchdown.
Oh, we don't want to get Tate had a really nice.
Okay, you want to do the Tate drive?
No.
Yeah. Oh,
See
well,
Tate. Oh no, I want to see Keziah.
you get to see Keziah, you get to see Hakeem getting a little chippy down there. I think there's some nice things here.
Julian Armella's in here.
This Tate throw was one of the best throws.
Jalen
he's
early.
made. Just from boop.
Yeah, this is
drifting,
Justin Hill
rolling.
finally getting his first catch at Florida State.
Yeah, Kevin, we almost missed all of this.
Man, he looks explosive.
He looks
He looks like he's going to be special.
We
watch
want to
this
see
guy.
we want to see Vandrevius Jacob in a minute or two. Like, yeah, there's stuff to watch here. That throw from Tate's really freaking good.
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about that.
That's
No,
an
we
arm
don't.
talent. Like, that's just
This is what everybody thinks because he was a 3-star that he has no ceiling, but he was a high. I think he
Sorry,
was
AB.
a high variance player.
I asked
That
for
is
it.
a frozen rope.
It is.
What?
That's an NFL throw. Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not there all the time for him, but like that's a big boy throw.
Vandrevius wants the ball.
You can change your
Such a
pants,
cold
Kev. Are
board.
we good to finish up?
Am I what?
Huh?
Nice run.
Keziah Holmes.
All right, let's look at that counter. We got some of the young boys in there, some of the young pups.
Wow.
Julian did a nice
Armella.
job.
Yeah, that's a great job.
steal by Julian here on the edge.
So is that a 5? You think?
Sure. It's not a 4-eye.
Yeah, it might
We'll
just
call
be a
it
true
5.
4. He might be just straight up head up. But
I think
either
so.
way, he does a great job of getting that inside, and that's what does this play.
And that's number 8, who's we saw give Bless Harrison fits earlier. Like, it's not a backup. Nice
Yeah,
job by Bryson Estes. Then
Yeah.
is that Jarrell Powers?
Yep.
Yeah.
Stickle in there. I mean, it's Armella cleaning someone out, and then Keziah with a nice patient run. I feel like are the two components that.
Yeah, and that's
you're
what Mike
focusing
talked
on
about
building
too. Like Mike talked about in the presser today. Like, we knew we were going to be able to lean on him in the second half. Like,
Mhm.
we just needed to stay patient with the run game. And second half, we were going to be able to kind of just run over him, and that's what happened essentially.
Yeah,
What's cool is they were able to do that with their backups, their freshmen, their young guys.
Outside
Mhm.
zone, nice cut.
Yeah. So
Here we go. Oh, is that no? The next one.
Who? Oh, who? What?
what?
No. Okay.
Stickle gets blown up.
No.
Can't win them all, guys.
No, the kid just chases it down from the backside. This is what it is. It's going to happen sometimes on outside zone.
Little triple option. Boop.
Yeah.
All day Dre.
He was more explosive than I realized.
He's very
Yeah,
explosive.
I remember watching his high school tape and watching there. I don't know. I didn't see like that gear.
I think his senior year, I remember being like, oh, there it is. There's a lot of like, he's just very smooth and fluid and got some twitch. He's fun. Oh, great read by Tate. Heisman.
That's
Give it to him.
he looked good. He operated the offense well. 2 touchdowns, 3 attempts.
Definitely.
That's fun.
Big for Tate. Like, in all seriousness, for Tate to do what you need him to do with the reps he's getting. That's encouraging as we look to next year.
Yeah, I think it'll be a real interesting,
Quarterback battle. Yeah.
quarterback battle next year. I don't know if there's a clear.
Let's go to the offense again.
Yeah, we go to offense with it.
Finish one more offense. Let's find the Brock.
The Glenaissance is what they're calling it, gentlemen.
The Glenaissance.
All right, here's
There
the
he is
Glenaissance.
in
First
all his
and
glory
10.
and splendor. Oh,
I thought he was Tate. He looks taller out there than I was expecting.
he got some wheels. Look at Hakeem blocking for him downfield. Let's go. All of it's beautiful.
That really is what does it.
Yeah.
Great block.
I love Hakeem's effort as a blocker. Like, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is the requisite to get on the field more.
You don't always know if a dude like that's going to come in and be immediately bought in. He is. Right. He's bought into the climb.
Yeah.
As cliche as that is, but
Miami fans were teasing about it. It's just like this is what this program's being built on. That kind of stuff.
Miami just beat a team that's going to win 5 games and they're back. So it's cool. The Jets. Oh, Brock.
I think Brock hurts his hand here. He had ice on it after the game, so hopefully it's all right.
This is the exact same play.
He's got to throw the ball.
Yeah. You just got to throw it.
No reason not to.
Do you think he
sees color flashing, guaranteed?
Yeah, I'm saying the eyes look like they're like almost like he just panicked and said, "I'm just tucking it." And yeah.
And that's the advantage Rotomaker's going to have in this next spring when he's got 4 years of experience.
Well, that's really what you're seeing. Like with Brock, is like how accelerated can it be throughout an entire he's probably got 100 practices under his belt right now. Like what an extra.
Who's on the O-line? Why are we seeing Kanaya Charlton out there?
Yeah, where's Kanaya?
Just on walking around. I guess because Estes and Thomas Schrader are in. Oh, hello.
Look at Keziah Holmes hit the turbo.
Yeah, he looks good out there.
Yep.
All right, what do we see? Well, outside zone.
Yep.
Jalen Early does a nice job.
Nice job by Bryson Estes there on the overtake.
That about 5 yards downfield, is that Thomas Schrader blocking?
Yes.
So
yes, it is.
Cool story because that dude has gone through a lot to get to that moment. Like
he's able to get that backside backer cut off, and then the safety takes a bad angle, and there we go.
Man, you have to be encouraged by how good this second team looks. I mean, a bunch of freshmen and new guys came in and essentially continued blowing out the starters on a decent Southern Miss team.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's it. We calling it?
I think so.
We're calling it.
That was a lot of fun.
That was informative. I think we got to see some of the AB said nitpicky. Sure, we're grading this team on a pretty high scale and through that lens now of being able to win a lot of games. You got to see things that you can clean up on. I think this is a coach's dream where you're able to not play in a non-competitive game, efforts there, and there's a ton of things you can clean up on and feel better about, right? You got to see young guys play, and you like the effort there. Final takeaways, guys. Kev, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to learn from. I think Jordan Travis is going to have to learn to adapt to get that ball a yard or so forward. I think he's going to have to be a little bit more accurate. I think Southern Miss was well prepared for this game, but I think you're the number 4 team in the country. Everybody's going to be well prepared for you from here on out. So how do you adjust? How do you can we get those tight ends to block a little bit better? Can we clean up those 1 or 2 things that are holding you back from making every play an explosive play? And if you can fix those, then, you've got one more game with Boston College to tune up before arguably the biggest game of your ACC slate. So.
All right, AB, what say you? How you feel after it's probably your 3rd or 4th time watching the game now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very similar that there's a lot to clean up, but this is a really freaking good football team. They've got a chance to go win it all this year. And I don't think that's not something I've said yet about this season, but I think I'm confident in saying that now. Watching them, the waves of talent that they're able to throw at teams is impressive. There's only a handful of teams out there that I think can do that. You're in a position to get a lot of good coaching done over the next few weeks. You've got a team in BC who I think you can spend some time also focused on Clemson and preparing for Clemson. You keep getting stuff on tape. You keep cleaning up your mistakes. The sky's the limit for this program, for this team. I'm excited for them to have the opportunity to get to coach these mistakes out of this program with these young guys and transfers and get it all fixed, because I'm really confident what the coaching staff can do. I know they're going to get those things fixed, and it's right there. And I think that's my frustration on Saturday evening was I know that it's right there, and I know they can get it, and I know they're going to. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see this team just blow Clemson out, because I think that's coming.
Don't want to look past Clemson. Mighty Boston College coming up, currently scheduled for Saturday at noon, red bandana game, a game that crowd always gets up for. We'll see what happens with the hurricane and if that changes things. But right now, as we record this on a Monday evening, you guys are viewing this on a Tuesday. Right now, the game is scheduled for Saturday. So FSU has to go there, take care of business. And it's Clemson coming up. So we have one more film review before we get to Clemson. But we're allowed to look ahead a little bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, Jeds.
I'm focused.
All right. So for Negative Nancy, Coach AB, filmed by Kev, I am Brendan, fueled by Chattanooga Whiskey. Trey will be back in his rightful spot. Don't worry, next week. But for now, I will bid you all adieu. Thanks for watching, everyone. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. We'll talk to you guys later.